all this loss? I like to win.
So do I.
I just want to know who you are.
Based on the 1971 book, it's given a very modern adaptation, though. The Day of the Jackal is getting its television premiere. It's an incredible series starring Oscar winner Eddie Redmayne, BAFTA winner Lashana Lynch. So, Lashana, I'll let you do the honors. Tell us what The Day of the Jackal is all about.
Oh, I was hoping you'd give that to Eddie. The Day of the Jackal is a comedy. It's on stage, not Broadway now, and a musical. It's no, genuinely, I because it's the Jackal, I do think that I would speak from a real gritty Bianca perspective, and I don't think you want to hear that. I mean,
I do, but it's a cat and mouse thriller. It's a
hunted thriller. Yeah. It's a very wide scope. We shot in many locations. It's an original IP from the 70s, but this is its own thing. It's no longer a film. It's no longer a book. It's a 10-part series, but it has its own flair and its own sophistication to it.
And what's interesting about it, it's these two people, Lashana's character is hunting me down, but both of them you kind of root for, and yet have deeply flawed moral compasses, perhaps, or moments of that. And what I find intriguing about it structurally is hopefully you are behind both of these characters, but you know they're on a one-way collision towards each other. That's kind of interesting in its own way.
Yeah. That's a great way to put that. And like you said, the Jackal has a much more prominent feature in the television 10-part series starring you, Eddie, as the Jackal. What is it like now? Obviously, there have been previous movie adaptations, but now in the series, the Jackal gets this huge role, and he's not necessarily the bad guy, like you said.
I mean, he's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But what I love is that I feel we live in a world of things aren't binary anymore. Everything is kind of on a spectrum. There's more ambiguity, and the idea of good versus evil, there are so many inflections within that. And but what appealed to me about it is this man he's kind of an actor. He changes the way he looks. He changes his languages. So it was kind of the idea of playing an actor and investing in all of those qualities that kind of got us into this world, the things that we love doing, whether it's the makeup or the physicality. That was just such an intoxicating prospect for me.
And shooting across the world, like you said, I mean, multiple countries, this cat and mouse thriller where you're on the chase against each other. Lashana, what was it like filming this just all over the world?
I just pictures myself running all over the world, like out of breath.
There's a lot of running.
Which kind of feels like the show, like, you know, we're constantly, like Eddie said, we're running in parallel, so to speak, and at different points in the series, you kind of want to see if they collide at some point, or if they do, if they don't, if they're in the same space, if they're not, if it's really him, if it's not. And Bianca's way of working is so animalistic. It's very much so a way in which I wouldn't suggest working. She's not light. She's very annoying, actually. She's described as annoying quite early on, and I think it's really accurate because she has this really quite I want to say grisly nature that helps her to push through a lot of the things that we don't see women represented as in screen in general. So it was really exciting for me to have her play that at work, but then in other places and spaces, you see her really battle with herself. And I think that's the incredible thing about both the Jackal and Bianca, that they are battling with different parts of themselves and trying to grapple with what's real and what's not, and how to remain in one space in order to get to another space. And that's quite, when we've worked through it, it's quite difficult to watch sometimes when you're like, why would you make that choice? It was incredible as producers actually to kind of go through all of the rushes, all of the dailies, all of the drafts, and think, gosh, these characters are they're messy. And we love mess as audiences. And I think that audiences will really relate to these characters, even though many spies, I'm sure, won't watch this show and won't really relate to Eddie's character in that way. But you might have, like, I don't know, you might work in finance and think, gosh, that's me. I'm the Jackal. And that's quite exciting for me.
Everyone is rooting for Lashana Lynch and Eddie Redmayne. Terrific performances. Make sure you watch The Day of the Jackal starting on Peacock November 14th. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.